while we're already seeing ongoing impact, a lot of people are understandably concerned about what is going to be the impact of Trump's tariffs, right? Well, the obvious reaction is it's going to make life more difficult for India, for business, and for the rupee, right? So it's already started slipping, and it's really impossible to tell when it will stop. RBI is in there trying to, placate the market, if you will. But, my belief, there's another issue that we need to look at. We need to see if the rupee gets weaker, does it really, to what extent, I should say, does it support or promote, help exports? If you look over the last 12 months, the dollar has fallen against the DXY, against global currencies by about 9-10%. The rupee has fallen by about 2-3% compared to the dollar. So, in other words, the rupee has actually depreciated against most other currencies, right? Certainly competing currencies like Thailand, Bangladesh, etc., etc. And yet, over the last 12 months, our exports did not grow. In fact, they grew by 0.2%. So, my point is, a much weaker rupee has not given us a boost in exports. What it has done, though, is as the rupee gets weaker, naturally inflation goes up, right? And since imports are 60% more than exports, it affects a much broader. It affects the economy in a deeper way, right? And who does it affect? It affects everybody, but specifically poor people. Right? So I think the policy that RBI has been running of generally pushing the rupee lower to protect exports, I don't think it makes sense. I think what needs to be done is it needs to be modulated. See, why have exports not grown, even though the rupee has been falling? It's not grown because A, we have to do a lot of structural change in our economy, and more importantly, because the global growth has been down. So perhaps RBI needs to come up with some process where you don't just push the rupee lower when global growth is not strong. When global growth is good, sure. But we need to understand that the exchange rate is not a one-trick pony. It's not going to fix everything. A weaker rupee can, in certain circumstances, help exports, but it is certainly going to make life more difficult for most people in India. So times are difficult. Times are really, it's very difficult to figure out what to do. But I think this is something that RBI needs to look into. Revisit exchange rate policy.